welcome to Alberta. You know, when people across the country think about Alberta, they think of us as the economic driver of the country, and in lots of ways they're absolutely right. And part of what that economic activity brings is real economic disparity. And so we have a ton of economic inequality in the province, and what that leads to is some neighborhoods like this one that you can see, which are really beautiful and obviously have people living here that are on the higher end of the income spectrum. This is Glenora, which is a neighborhood here in Edmonton that would be considered one of the more affluent neighborhoods. You can see they've got the great view of the Saskatchewan River, and we can see downtown Edmonton is over this way. But if we sort of take a look over here, we can get a sense of what one of these types of neighborhoods really looks like. And you don't need to be a real student of economic disparity to know which end of the scale we're on as you drive up the street. When there's a bigger gap between the rich and the poor, we all suffer for a whole host of reasons, and in almost every type of outcome that we can think of. But for these individuals, part of the point, from my point of view, is this. If we had a stronger economic base, we were all doing a little more closely together from an economic point of view, we'd have a stronger tax base, we'd have a stronger government that could provide better services to all of us, we'd have a stronger democracy, and the decisions that were being made would be more equal and more transparent for all of us. And so while these folks may not seem like they're being affected by income inequality, the truth is they absolutely are. So welcome to the Boyle Street neighborhood here in downtown Edmonton. And so you can see a real stark contrast here between where we've just been with the big houses with lots of property and a beautiful view of the river. And here we have largely subsidized housing units, lots of vacancy, much smaller living areas, and largely apartments and rental condos. Poverty in Alberta is actually deeper, and so the average person living in poverty in Alberta is living significantly further below the poverty line than people living in poverty in the rest of Canada. And living in these neighborhoods, we have worse social indicators around healthcare, and life expectancy outcomes in poor neighborhoods in Canada are much lower than they are in wealthy neighborhoods in Canada. In Canada, people that live in poor postal codes tend to live about 21 years shorter lives than people that live in wealthy postal codes. We certainly do have the ability to end poverty in Alberta. We have the ability to end poverty all over Canada. We're just making choices that stop us from doing that. When we think about political action in sort of a modern city sense, we can organize our communities, and we can go talk to our aldermen and our city councils. We can speak to our MLAs and our MPs between elections. And as community members, we can do lots of things on our own that also impact the lives of our fellow citizens. And so there's lots of ways that we can take action and make things right in our city, but the number one way is on election day, voting for folks that represent your values.